let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns, who's joining us live from Capitol Hill. And Caitlin, there was a touching moment there after all the speeches, after all the ceremony, when the late Senator Lindsey Graham's little sister reached over and touched his casket. And I'm reminded that of all the things that we've been talking about this hour over the life and legacy of Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the things that struck me is I recall him once saying that the greatest thing that he'd ever done in his life was to take care of his little sister. Talk to me about that relationship.
That's right, Vlad. And now his little sister is a U.S. Senator. And it was such a touching moment there. If our audience may remember or may not know, Lindsey Graham's parents died when he was in his early 20s. His sister was a teenager, and he essentially adopted her and raised her. And she has been such a big part of his life, and he in hers. She has appeared in campaign ads over the years discussing their relationship and the way in which, in her words, her big brother took care of her. And so now she has taken his place in the U.S. Senate and has been welcomed by his former colleagues. And it was just such a touching moment there, especially all of this pomp and circumstance, kind of remembering who he was. And Vlad, I couldn't help but think the last time many of his colleagues that you saw there saw Lindsey Graham was in these very hallways. There was such shock after his death. I remember talking to many senators shortly afterwards. They were just in utter disbelief, considering that Senator Graham had just been in Ukraine. He had been working on a lot of high-profile issues here in the Senate. And so you see his colleagues gathered there from both sides of the aisle. I was kind of going through and looking at all the Democrats that were there as well. And that really speaks to the way in which Senator Graham did work across the aisle. He was a loyal, staunch ally of President Trump, did everything in his power to push forward on Trump's policies, but he also had a lot of friends across the aisle. And because he was such a foreign policy influence, he took a lot of foreign trips with both Democrats and Republicans, and many of them remembered really growing close to Graham and working with him on a variety of different issues because of those codels, those foreign trips that they had spent time closely with him. So a very somber day here at the U.S. Capitol. I was kind of overwhelmed walking in here today, quite frankly, because there's a tight security perimeter around the Capitol building. Harder to get in here today because there are so many high-profile people coming here. And also it was notable, guys, the way in which his staff was lined up outside the Capitol to welcome his casket in on the east side of the Capitol, back to the place that he was so fondly remembered here. And I can say over the past couple of weeks since his passing, it does feel like a different place. I mean, Lindsey Graham was someone who you could talk to anywhere in these halls. He was often walking by himself on his cell phone, not really flanked by a ton of staff or people kind of, in this bubble with him, but highly accessible to his colleagues and reporters alike. And so this moment today is a somber remembrance, but also one that a lot of his colleagues, guys, are still processing this.